The concept of psychology. Introduction. Psychology is the scientific study of mind and behavior. The word psychology comes from the Greek word psyche meaning life, and logos meaning explanation. Psychology is presently defined as the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Such a study can involve both animal and human behaviors. When applied to humans, psychology covers everything that people think, feel, and do. Issues regarding behavior and mental processes are inevitable issues for human beings as well as animals. Psychology is a popular major for students, a popular topic in the public media, and a part of our everyday lives. Crime dramas such as CSI, Lie to Me, and others feature the work of forensic psychologists who use psychological principles to help solve crimes. And many people have direct knowledge about psychology because they have visited psychologists. For instance, school counselors, family therapists, and religious, marriage, or bereavement counselors. Most psychologists work in research laboratories, hospitals, and other field settings where they study the behavior of humans and animals. Other psychologists study such topics as alcohol and drug addiction, memory, emotion, hypnosis, love, what makes people aggressive or helpful, and the psychologies of politics, prejudice, culture, and religion. Description of psychology. There are a number of misconceptions and misunderstandings as to what psychology is exactly, and for this reason we will consider why this is so and then examine some descriptions of this subject area. While people have been interested in human behavior for thousands of years, psychology has only become a discipline in its own right in the last 100 years. Many writers agree that the birth of psychology as we now understand the concept was in 1879 in Leipzig, Germany. At this time, Wilhelm Wundt founded the first laboratory devoted to experimental psychology. Over the next 40 years, many universities throughout Europe and the United States set up their own laboratories. The main belief shared by these early pioneers was that human psychological processes could be studied objectively using the same experimental methods developed over the years by the natural sciences, for example physics and chemistry. The first recognized book on psychology was written by William James and published in 1890. Psychology, like any other scientific fields, evolved in time and underwent significant changes in its conception. According to earlier psychologists, the function of psychology was to study the nature, origin and destiny of the human soul. But the soul is something metaphysical. It cannot be seen, observed and touched, and we cannot conduct scientific experiments on the soul. In the 18th century, psychology was understood as the science of mind. William James, 1892, defined psychology as the science of mind and mental processes. But the word mind is also quite ambiguous as there was confusion regarding the nature and functions of mind. Modern psychologists defined psychology as the science of consciousness. James Sully, 1884, defined psychology as the science of the inner world. Wilhelm Wundt, 1892, defined psychology as the science which studies the internal experiences. But there are three levels of consciousness, namely, conscious, subconscious and the unconscious, and so this definition also was not accepted by some. Thus in this way, psychology first lost its soul, then its mind and then its consciousness. At present only its behavior exists. William McDougall, 1905, defined psychology as the science of behavior, W.B. Pillsbury, 1911, and J.B. Watson, 1912, also defined psychology as the science of behavior. Behavior generally means overt activities which can be observed and measured scientifically. but one's behavior is always influenced by their experiences. So when we study one's behavior, we must also study their experiences. Considering all the above views about the makings and orientation of psychology, we can define psychology as a scientific study of humans and animals, overt and covert behavior as well as mental processes. Any dictionary and almost all introductory psychology textbooks will contain a description of the word psychology. Unfortunately, you may find that there are almost as many different descriptions of the subject area as there are textbooks. Why do psychologists differ in their descriptions? There are at least two reasons why psychologists do not always agree on a simple common description of psychology. The first is that psychology is a relatively new discipline. Compared with sciences such as chemistry and physics, psychology is in its infancy and its theories and methods are still being developed. The second reason is that psychology already covers a diverse range of subjects, and psychologists working in different areas see psychology in slightly different ways. For example, educational psychologists will be mainly concerned with the way in which children learn, and how to help children who are not doing well at school. By contrast, a clinical psychologist will deal almost exclusively with people who are mentally ill or who are experiencing behavioral problems. Thanks for your attention. See you next time.